Not old either, I guess.
Okay. All right, we are streaming. It's not on the camera's not on us quite yet, but dun, dun, dun. You guys ready to get started? I know we kind of like ran right into it, but I'm excited. I want to catch up with you guys.
Where's the ocean at?
He let us know he's gonna be a little late, so I figured he can jump into the bonus content. All right, let's go. You guys have your audacities ready in the background for whenever?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll trust you to get there.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually, bro.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to bonus content. I'm Alex. Scott and Tony are here. It's time to be bonus. Scott, what did you do in Seattle?
Yeah, it's been that long, huh?
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
We missed 2 episodes in a month, which I think is the most we've ever missed in a month. But to be fair, there's a lot going on. But
Yeah.
I've been a busy boy.
let's say Tony and I have a bet riding on this. What did you do in Seattle?
Okay, let's see. Day 1. Get there, walk around down to I think it's the pier. Not the pier.
Pier is a word.
I know it's a word, but that's not where I went.
Okay.
What is this thing called?
Is it Barcade?
No.
I like those.
I didn't go to one of those.
Damn.
At least not in that sense.
Okay. All right. Plot thickens.
Did go to a bar.
Ooh.
So we walked around. I want to say we tried to find the Seattle equivalent of the fish market.
Okay.
'Cause apparently, they throw fish, but all we found instead was a bunch of homeless people.
Well, that's good.
Damn.
Yeah, one of them tried saying hi to us.
Homeless people in Seattle is like, I don't remember much about that city from the one time I was there, but homeless people in Seattle are fucking crazy.
Well, side story, but do you know what they do?
No.
So on the West Coast, it's generally just too hot in the other cities.
Mm-hmm.
So they buy them a one-way ticket to Seattle.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they're just like dumping homeless people in Seattle.
Yes.
That's not a good look.
No. It does beat people dying of heat exhaustion, though.
Yes, true.
Or he does it?
I mean, like,
A little bit.
or you could like live your life on the road, man, on the railroad. Let's go.
Out on the streets.
No, that's not accurate.
But
Okay.
yeah. So after we didn't find what we were looking for, we decided to eat at the restaurant under the hotel we were staying at.
Okay.
Nothing too eventful there, and then we just decided to turn it. Day 2. We have no idea when training starts, so we're just up at our normal time, which is like 8. But that's 5 a.m. over there.
Yep.
So we try calling around to see what time the training thing we're supposed to be over there is for. As it turns out, it's at 8. And in order to get there on time, you gotta leave at like 7:30.
Okay.
Normal stuff. So I do that until about like 3 to 4. between that time, and I think day one. I think sorry. I think day two is the day we go out to a bar.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the place?
Art and Marble.
Okay. I've never heard of it, but I might be in Seattle later this year, so I'll look for it.
So yeah, it's bar with a bunch of bar food, with a bunch of, let's see. It's kind of weird. They had skee ball, I'd say carnival basketball hoops, several things of ping pong and shuffleboard, as well as bocce ball.
Okay. This sounds fun.
So we did that with we ended up doing that with the business people we were going over there for.
That sounds pretty good.
It was.
Okay. Did you do anything else on any of the other nights?
I'm going through it night by night.
Okay, man. I
Now
listen. Look for the highlights.
We covered Monday. We covered Tuesday. Wednesday, after the business thing, we went and we saw Deadpool.
Oh, nice.
Deadpool 2.
Did you like it?
Yep.
Okay. I have yet to see it, but I look
Real
forward
good.
to it.
Have you seen the first one?
I have seen the first one.
Okay, it's better.
It's better than the first one? Okay.
It's better.
I hear a lot. I feel like it's a 50-50 split of people that like it more than the first one or like the first one more. Either way, I'm excited to see it. I liked the first one more than I thought I would, so.
And then day 3, we basically went out to, I think they call it Ray's Boathouse,
Okay.
for a fancy dinner.
Nice.
Oh, hold on, I'm skipping thing. Day 3 was also the day we went out sightseeing.
Okay. Did you see what's the big Seattle thing? The fucking spear or whatever they call it. No, I'm talking
What?
about
No idea.
it's the Seattle Monument.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Instead, we saw the water locks.
Okay. Cool.
We got to see them in action. Do you know what those are?
I've heard of them. I'm not, I'm not.
Are they like aqueducts?
Yeah.
No.
Are those like
It's the stuff that it's the mechanism they use to raise and lower the water from the lake to the ocean,
Yes, that's what I thought it was.
or from lake to lake.
I feel like that's
In this
kind of
case,
like
it's like those.
The Ballard locks?
It's not like an aqueduct.
I feel like it's kind of like aqueducts.
They're like
Not even close.
what's the word for the thing they use in New Orleans? I'm never gonna get this. We're never gonna find that.
I don't fucking know, dude.
That's called a levee.
Levee, yeah. I would compare them closer to levees
It's
than
closer to a levee.
an aqueduct, which like carries like potable water to you. Potable water. Potable? But you know what, Tony? I appreciate your you're looking here. You're seeking. I'm
Hey,
into
man,
it.
I'm trying to help.
You're doing great. That sounds cool. I just looked up some pictures of them. They look rad.
And then we went to Golden Gardens, which is a beach.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
Yeah, beaches are weird, man.
No, that they call it the Golden Gardens is weird.
Yeah. I don't know
It
if
was
I would
great.
ever describe a beach as a garden.
Much less a golden one.
Yeah, maybe like
Especially
Venice.
when it's red.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
And then we saw the troll under the bridge.
nice.
We paid $5.
Was he friendly?
Fucking
He
trolls,
was a
dude.
statue.
Did he tell you that your video game opinions are trash?
If he did, he would have been right. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I paid him $5 not to.
Good call. Fuck that. Don't feed the trolls, but just pay them to leave you alone. So, Trevor.
Other than that, in a nutshell, that was it.
Okay.
Because the next morning, was, yeah, and next morning was when we had to leave.
When you fly out. I should have been paying attention to chat. The Space Needle is what the thing in Seattle is called.
Space Needle.
Mike Burgess referred to it as the fucking spear. Which
there you go.
Which I really like. And Trevor was on the levees thing very quickly. I just was not paying attention. He said, no, locks, levees, and aqueducts are all very different things, apart from the fact that they involve water, I guess. So I would like to say that you're in the right category, Tony.
No, that's good.
You're in the aqua category.
No, that's like saying it's like a bottle.
That's true. Bottles can also involve water.
Well, it's like a foot.
Okay. Scott,
Water.
I'm going to ask you a very general question. Would you say that you had fun in Seattle?
Yeah.
Got him, Tony.
No, I mean, that's not necessarily what the bet was about.
The bet was, if we asked Scott, did you do anything fun in Seattle, would he say yes or would he say no?
You didn't ask him that question, though.
Scott,
Yeah, I can say yeah.
Got him. That's
I'm pretty sure that's not exactly what the bet was, though.
Let me see if I wrote it down. I'm pretty sure I did.
I mean, if you're going to ask me if I like Seattle, it's going to be no.
Yeah.
No, I think... I fucking remember what it was.
Sorry, we're bad at this, so I will see if I can look it up audio wise, and we'll figure it out. I'm glad that you went out and did stuff though instead of staying in. Tony, you got a car.
Yeah, I bought a car.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about this. We don't have to if you don't want to, but I want to hear about it.
I mean, why wouldn't I want to talk about cars?
I don't know. Tell me about your car. I saw a picture, but I don't know what kind of car it is.
Oh, did I? I looked at the text thread earlier today, and then I realized I had said I'll send more later, and then I did. But when I went to look at it today, there were red exclamation.
Oh yeah, they didn't go through.
I guess my picture's never sent. But anyway, yeah. So as you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, the episodes have come out over the past month, basically. My car was totaled in a hit and run overnight, parked outside my house. And since that happened, obviously the insurance company was like, yeah, that thing's totaled. Here's a check for what the car was worth right before it was totaled. See ya. So they gave me a check, and I was like, okay, well, I have to get a new car because an Uber to work and back every day is $50. So not doing that.
Hemorrhaging money, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily I pay for pretty good insurance. So my insurance covers a rental car for up to 30 days. So I knew I got a hard limit of 30 days before I don't have a car. So I have to buy one in the next month. So that's why I was super busy all the time, and I was still working 43 hours a week or so. Mm-hmm. I was spending every day, that I wasn't at work, and even time while at work, researching cars, driving all over the place to different dealerships, some in Virginia, all that to look at cars. And I went through this whole odyssey and personal journey of deciding what cars I like. And I think as a side effect of researching cars for a month, I've kind of turned into a car person.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
But anyway, so I started looking at two-door cars because I figured I want to get a nice sporty car. I have this sizable down payment, and I know that what I want to get it cannot be had for the amount of money that my insurance company paid me for my previous car. Mm-hmm. So kind of just paying, what I had in cash for a car was kind of out the window if I wanted something that wasn't really old and unreliable or, 100,000 plus miles on it. So I was already looking into, financing a car. So I went and got pre-qualified, and I was looking around, looking at a bunch of different cars. Went in, like I said, looked at a bunch of them, and kind of skipping all of the middle part of just going to dealers, looking at a car, and for some reason, it doesn't work out. Or, going to a dealership and it ends up being a really crooked dealership where online they're advertising this car is $11,000. And then you go in, they're like, by the way, there's a $1,500 Maryland state inspection fee, which by the way, a Maryland state inspection costs less than $100. and a $1,000 reconditioning fee. So by the way, there's an extra $2,500 on top of the online price. Plus, we're going to pay you dealer fees and taxes.
Garbage.
So like, yeah, and honestly, like the funny part is like I didn't find this out until much later. But that dealership, when I went in there, I was like, they're like, hey, yeah, look at the Carfax for this car, and they give me a Carfax for a different car.
Extra
So,
garbage.
yeah, that's super shitty. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was looking at a bunch of stuff. I test drove a couple Mustangs. I was going to go look at a Camaro, and like a couple weeks ago when I was saying, like, hey, I'm going to go buy a car tomorrow. I don't remember if I said that on the show or right after the show, but I was going to go look at a 2012 Camaro. Anyway, I've been through basically every experience you can have with the dealership. That car, they sold it in the time it took me to get to the dealership, and then they called me and like, hey, by the way, that car is sold. And then, after that, I stopped looking at Mustangs and stuff because I actually went to a dealership, test drove the car, but then I had to do an insurance thing. So I was like, all right, I'll come back and buy this tomorrow. By the time I came to tomorrow, they sold the car.
Damn.
So then I was looking at, I started looking at Scion FRSs and Subaru BRZs, which are, kind of very low to the ground, sporty cars. They don't have as high horsepower, and they don't pick up as much. But they're really nice on the inside for the year that they came out. So anyway, I was looking at a bunch of those, and so I called this dealer. I was like, "Hey man, I want to buy this car. I can come down right now." And the guy was like, "Great." And then he texted me 10 minutes later. He was like, "By the way, that car just sold." So like, I don't know. I had every experience that you could have. And by the way, that car is not sold. It's still sitting at the dealership. So
fucking liar.
Anyway, so I kept researching, and at this point, having done all of this plus a bunch of other stuff, it's getting close to the end of the month. So I'm like, man, I really something has to change. Where like I gotta lower my expectations on the car a little bit, or I have to increase my budget on the car a little bit. So I kept looking, and I found this BRZ, which is basically the same as an FRS. It's just made by a different company, basically the same vehicle, just a little nicer inside, but smaller interior. That was just taken in by BMW of Catonsville, which is like 20 minutes north of me, right off Route 40 in Maryland anyway. So I called the guy. He's like, yeah, I took that in as a trade yesterday. It's in inspection right now because all dealers have to inspect their cars. If you want to come take a look at it tomorrow morning. The only thing about this one, it was cheap, but it had like over 100,000 miles on it. So I was like, okay, I really got to that was kind of my compromise on that one. I was like, okay, this is high mileage, but I'm going to take care of it. I don't drive a lot.
Yeah.
It should be fine.
Yeah.
So I go, and there are no pictures of it online or anything because they just got it. These cars sell really fast because they're really popular, especially when they're priced that. I was like, okay, this is priced pretty low. There's got to be something wrong with it other than 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
I go and look at it the next morning. And, it's all dented up and stuff. Like, obviously, that's why they delayed putting pictures up. They hadn't even detailed it or anything yet. So it was really dirty. And I was just like, I got a bad feeling from it. So I was like, I'll pass. And this is on I want to say this is like the last Saturday of the month, which means that it's the last possible day that I have to find a car. And I was kind of banking on this one, being good enough. So I go on Auto Trader and I'm searching around. And I was like, okay, let me just see what I can find if I bump up what I'm willing to spend by $2,000. That changes my monthly payments by a little bit, but not too much. So I go online looking at stuff, and I find a couple Challengers, which is the two-door, police cars, Dodge Charger.
Yeah.
Challengers are the two-door version of that car, built on the same frame. So of the three really popular two-door sporty coupes, which is the Mustang, the Camaro, and the Challenger is like the big, nice inside one.
Yeah.
They're more expensive than the other two. But anyway, and 2014 was the year right before they redesigned the interior. And this one, it was at a pretty decent price, had 40,000 miles on it in Virginia, which is kind of annoying, but it's at a dealership that is, one of the top 3 dealerships in the country.
Nice. Okay.
Which is Lindsay Volkswagen of Virginia. So I was like, all right, look, and I'm dragging my mom around with me because if I buy a car, someone's got to drive the car that I'm driving back home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, look, we're going there. I called this guy. I'm like, hey, do you have this car? He's like, yeah, but someone's coming down from Philadelphia right now to buy it. If you beat him, you're closer. So I'll honor the local before the person coming from way far away. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to come down right now. So I drive down to the dealership, test drive the car. Car's in a excellent condition for 40. It only has 40,000 miles on it for 2014. So basically, the guy who had this car, single owner before me, barely drove the car. He drove it just about as much as I will. So anyway, long story short, I spent the day at the dealership and ended up buying the car. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a really nice car. I'm happy with it. The interior, like I said, is much more comfortable than any of the other cars that I had been test driving. And it's a cool looking car. It's a fun one to drive. It's got, it sounds and feels like you're driving a rear wheel drive race car.
Wow.
So it's a good time. And like I said, it's nice inside. Looks nice. I get compliments on it already. So anyway, yeah, I've been really enjoying it since I bought it. It's weird because I've never felt like, and maybe it's just that the car is new, but I've never felt excited to drive a car, or like to go and drive my car somewhere.
Yeah.
But I definitely get that feeling, people, and now that I've kind of been reading up about it, and I subscribe to the Challenger subreddit, which is the thing. I've learned some terms, and there's a term that people who buy more expensive cars use, especially the ones that are built more for having fun with the car rather than being feature rich and getting from point A to point B as comfortably as possible. And instead of MPG, they use GPG, which is grins per gallon. And I think that the rating on this car for me is much higher than any car I've ever driven previously.
That's good.
So yeah, it's just it's been a real joy to drive so far, and like I said, I'm kind of now looking into things to do to make the car, make it mine and make it more fun, So I'm looking at modifying some stuff about the car, like changing the exhaust out to make it sound nicer, stuff like that. And it's probably gonna end up with me paying more money than I should on this car, but otherwise, it's been a good time. And I think that while it took the entirety of my last month, the result, of being patient, not just buying a car that I wasn't going to be really happy with in the end, has kind of paid off in this case. So
Nice. Well, congrats.
And then there's the fact that I have to pay for it for the next couple of years. So
Yes.
but the giant down payment does definitely bring my monthly payment way, way, way below the national average, which is nice.
Nice. Trevor also in the chat says, "Congrats, Tony."
Thanks, man.
It's good.
Yeah, since then, like I said, I just I'll keep going out and be like, I need to get this thing for the car. So I bought, on the 4th of July, which happened this week, they were having a sale on this website called ProClips USA, which they make phone mounts for cars specifically for your car to slip in between the trim on the dashboard instead of clipping to an air vent or something, or into the CD player. So it's a nicer, more sturdy for your phone. And then you buy the mount, and then you buy the actual phone mount, which is based on your phone. So I spent a couple extra bucks on the phone mount, and that came in the mail today, and I put it in, and it's rock solid, fits exactly for my
Rock
phone. Hard. Yeah, dude. It's been great. I've been having a lot of fun with it. So
Cool. That sounds fun. Is it integrated Bluetooth and everything for your phone?
Yeah, it has that. It has Bluetooth, so I can answer calls in the car, but it doesn't play music through Bluetooth, which is fine because the radio, I actually would prefer an aux cable anyway, because you can get louder and better sound through an aux cable than you could Bluetooth. It also has a USB connection that I could play music through.
Okay, cool.
But I just use that to charge it, and then I also plug in the aux cable. And I don't have to if I don't want to play music. If I'm just driving to work or whatever, I can just plug in the charging thing. But I don't. I bought an aux cable just because it had better sound quality.
What kind of speakers are we talking about? Does that sound good in there?
Yeah, it actually does. It sounds a lot. My previous car had from it was a 2008. It had an upgraded premium Bose sound system in it. This car I think it's the base one. Challengers are typically $30,000 cars, and I definitely didn't pay $30,000, so it doesn't have all of those really nice options and stuff. But it's got a better speaker than my last one. And I mean, my last one, I had to play CDs. There was no other way to play music, so huge quality of life increase.
Exactly.
I had actually bought a portable speaker and was just carrying that around in my car and with playing music over Bluetooth through that instead of the speaker system in my car in the first place. So being able to actually play it through the speakers is nice.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad. I remember just because I thought it was funny. you described the car that you were going to get. I guess it probably ended up being a different car, but you described the car as the kind that you would lend me to take a girl on a first date with.
This is still the same kind of car. Like, I
Yeah.
would still describe it in that way, but that was when I was talking about the Camaro.
Yeah, it's still really funny. I love it because I'd never heard
Honestly,
that
like,
before.
The funny part is at the beginning of a month ago when I first started looking at cars, one of the very first cars I looked at was a Challenger. And I was like, this is a little bit too high out of my price range.
It was fate,
from what
Tony.
I'm looking at right now. And I ended up getting a nicer Challenger at the end of the month. Just like it had taken a month, but I found a good deal on one. So
It was Destiny, the video
no,
game.
it wasn't Destiny. That game sucked.
All right, calm down. Cool.
Anyway, there's your, like, I don't know, 15 minutes of me talking about cars.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what I came here for. I went on a trip to San Francisco.
Hell yeah.
See, this is fun because we all got stuff for bonus content. Versus Scott being like, I don't know, man. I went home, fucked some shit up. I went on a trip to San Francisco, had a great time. Thanking everyone who came and said hi to me, or hugged me. A lot of hugs. I think I got a little sick. That's how many hugs I had.
I hit the try again button on those pictures and it worked, by the way.
Nice. I look forward to seeing them. Oh, there we go. I don't want to distract myself too much, but I got to meet a lot of people who have been on this show for the first time in the last year. It was really nice. I got to meet Jessica Howard, Caitlin Galeese, Roe. Super nice people. Super nice to meet them in person. It was just really nice. It was a nice time. I got to spend a lot of time with the boy Barrett Courtney, and his lovely girlfriend Dad Boy, and his lovely girlfriend Alyssa. I got to hang out a lot with Jacob Bryant, it was very fun. On my way back, my plane, it was a connecting flight from San Francisco to Salt Lake City to BWI to Baltimore, and my flight in Salt Lake City left without me, which I have never experienced.
How was that?
It was absolutely horrible. Like, I don't get super anxious about a lot of stuff, but like airplanes and missing planes and being stuck in an airport is like my number one trigger for sure. So I was like freaking out. And the thing was the plane coming into San Francisco was delayed for reasons I don't know. I think it was just inclement weather type thing. And then when we landed, so it was late already. When we landed in Salt Lake City, we couldn't get to the gate to park to unplane, because of traffic. Like, other planes were in the way. It's like, hey, we see the gate, it's empty, we just can't get to it because other planes are in the way. And I'm sitting there like tapping my foot like I got like 10 minutes, and then like I sprint to the gate, and it's 5 minutes after departure time where they're supposed to like close the gate, seal the door, and they had left already. Like they're
gone.
Yeah, they had fucking, like, I couldn't even see the plane. Like, they pieced the fuck out. I'm like, man, they knew I was on this connecting flight, and they knew that flight was delayed. They didn't think to wait for 5 minutes. Like, I feel hurt. So I was,
they just don't know you yet.
Yeah, they just don't know me.
Yeah.
So I was hurt, and I was upset, and I was panicking. And I'm like, I need to get home tonight because I'm not like one, especially because like I checked my bag, so that was like fucking wherever. Because like they ended up Delta, who I was flying with, which to be fair, first time I ever flown with Delta, great experience overall. Like, that was the first time as an adult I've flown with like an in-flight movie. I've not had, because I fly Southwest most of the time, and they don't do that shit. They're like, no screens, nah, deal with your own shit. I don't care. But Delta's great because they have like screens on the back of all the chairs, and you can just like for free access a library of like 100+ movies and just play them. So I think that's cool. I ended up on the way back, I watched Pacific Rim Uprising, which was really good. Pitch Perfect 3, which was like arguably very bad, but I liked it a lot. and because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't sleep, I watched the Central Intelligence, which is that The Rock, Kevin Hart comedy. And
All right.
that movie's not great, but I had a good time with it. I love in that movie, The Rock basically plays a jabroni. Like, he's like a brony, weirdo, awkward guy, and he's also like a super buff CIA agent, but he's just so weird, and it's great. But yeah, I was like freaking out, like I gotta get home tonight. I can't stay in airports. I don't have my fan. I'm having a panic attack.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, my safety fan is not here. So I worked with Delta, and they actually bought me a ticket for. They covered everything, which was nice. They're like, we're gonna get you home. They got me a ticket for an Alaskan flight to Seattle, to catch a connecting flight to Dulles, red eye to Dulles overnight, which was the closest they could get me, and that landed at 5:30 in the morning Eastern time. I'm like, that's fine. It's basically the original plane that Delta wanted to put me on was like a 5-hour layover in Atlanta, to have me take a 9 a.m. flight to BWI. And it's like, no, don't fucking do me like that. So I got to Dulles eventually and took a Lyft home. I Ubered home, and it's very expensive, but I was home. And it was the best Lyft driver I've ever gotten in my life,
Okay.
which was great. He let me play music. He was super nice. He liked Chance the Rapper. He was a cool guy.
Hell yeah, that guy's all right.
Yeah, that guy was all right. So I got home. You know, I could have been worse. I could have just never made it home. But like,
Wouldn't that fucking suck?
I could have just died. I was like, getting on the last flight, I was like, man, I hope I don't just die, because I feel like it would make all this really not worth it. But yeah, it was fun. I played a lot of Switch, which was nice. I finished Hollow Knight, which was nice. We'll get to that in the games talk. But San Francisco overall was a lot of fun, but the traveling home was not. It's funny because the flight there was like excellent, super chill. Took a flight from BWI to, not Missouri, somewhere in the middle of the country, or like, no, it was Chicago. It's always Chicago, I feel like. To Chicago to San Francisco, and that was fine. San Francisco Airport, SFO, is the only airport that's made me take my Switch out of my bag, though.
Oh, really?
When I get on a plane. Which I feel like is just the clientele of SFO. Like, everybody has a Switch there. But usually I just take out my laptop, and that's fine out of my laptop bag. But they're like, anything bigger than a cell phone, and they take out my 3DS and my Switch. And the lady was just like so fucking pissed about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, like, chill. Yeah. But yeah, that's my travel woes. I ate a lot of ramen in San Francisco.
Hell yeah.
You'd be proud of me, Tony. I got like a lot of good ramen pictures.
I still haven't been to the new ramen place around here. I need to go.
I need to go and like sit down and have it there, because I've only ever done takeout.
Trying to get some ramen later, dude.
Dude, I would after tonight if I hadn't been up since 5 a.m. But we should go. We should have like a cute little ramen date there.
I'll get Scott too. And,
Yeah.
like force him out of his house, because I know he doesn't leave his house either.
It's either we do that or we go back to Red Robin. Close the
Hell
loop.
yeah.
Red Robin was great.
If we're gonna go on a ramen adventure, we're gonna fucking go on a ramen adventure.
Hell yeah.
What do you mean?
We're gonna fly to Japan.
If Maryland doesn't have a ramen shop, we're driving next state over.
We do. Like
we
there is one that just
we
opened
do
in
now
Columbia.
have a ramen shop, so
Yeah, I feel like as someone who works with local food businesses in Columbia, I should know that.
yeah.
You know, there's like a banchan opening near the mall.
Ooh.
Opening soon.
Is that the one in the mall? Because they're opening like a chicken place in the mall.
No. So it's like, you know how they've got like, they're trying to build those like fancy like high-rise apartments
kind of like if you're leaving the mall to go back towards
Yeah.
your house,
I know what you're talking
there's
about.
like they're building those. It's in one of those.
Cool.
Kind of like where that pizza build your own pizza place
Yeah,
is.
Mod Pizza. There's some good stuff
It's near there.
in that area. I never go. Like some of my coworkers walk over there to get food. I never go there.
I used to
It's
go
too
over there all
far.
the time. It's too far.
It's too far. My legs are only so strong.
But
Cam-
yeah, that's opening pretty soon. I'm trying to get in business with those guys.
Cameron is telling me not to apologize to the Gestapo for for making me take my Switch out of my bag. I don't know if I call them Gestapo, but I understand.
would.
I understand people do not like the TSA. But yeah, it was just very extreme.
Mhm.
Man, speaking of TSA, there's like a kind of TSA equivalent when you're going into Cuba. I never really got to
Uh-huh.
talk about Cuba that much. But like the uniform for the I guess security check-in there is very questionable. I would say it is driven by maybe a very sexist agenda
Oh,
in like this very weirdly sexualized only women, this very sexualized uniform that like they all are wearing, so they're all clearly required to wear.
that's kind of weird.
It's super weird, but then again, like that's Cuba. It's like some parts are surprisingly very modern, but some parts are like, oof, boy.
Yeah.
Cuba, lovely country though. You're in a place with nice people. I think like my mom bumped into somebody on the street and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me," and I was like,
Excuse me.
"Oh man, fucking people are nice here." Like if that happened to you in New York, people would just like fucking like push you
They
over,
just like
and-
leave. They're like, see you.
they would throw you into the middle of the street and not say a word and walk away. But yeah, Cuba is a beautiful country. How do you guys feel about starting the show? We could hang out a little bit longer for Nobishin, but I'm fucking hankering to talk about some video. I'm hankering for a spankering.
I actually played video games this week.
Yeah, Scott, did you actually play video games?
I think I forgot a good chunk of it, but
We got
go ahead. I got something good enough.
okay. We got no news this week, so it's just all games and then questions, and then we're throwing it out. So, cool. Let's get this party started. I'll text Nobishin real quick and let him know.
Put them on notice.
Put him on notice. Oh man, these pictures of your car are very sexy, Tony. It's like a dark blue.
It's a dark blue, but it like when the sun shines on it, it's got like that shiny finish to it.
Yeah, it's very glossy.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably my favorite color that these cars come in any model of them.
Yeah.
So I was really fortunate that the one that I ended up going to see was that color.
Yeah, and it's not like red or yellow, so there's no like insurance up tax
Exactly.
for bullshit.
Or
color.
like neon green, which is the color that these can come in.
I don't know if that would work.
It doesn't look bad, to be honest.
Started. Cool. Let's get started. You guys got Audacity up?
Almost.
Almost.
I do.
Red. Thank you, Scott. Scott's ready for a spankering, Cameron. I did get a couple people ask me if, while Nabish and I were away, if we would get an episode of Scott and Tony shit on everything. It was requested.
It just wasn't meant to be, man. I just wasn't even close to available last week.
I got you. You had to get a car, man.
Yeah, that would have been like the crunch period of like, I need to figure this shit out or it's going to start costing me $50 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How is the experience of renting a car?
Okay, so I didn't talk about this, but I can because it sucked. So I went, well, honestly, okay, the actual experience of renting the car was fine. But I went and I got a car. They gave me a new, I think I talked about this when I first got it. They gave me a new 2019 Nissan Sentra with 900 miles on it. So, for a 4-door sedan that's built just to have nice stuff in it, it was nice. It wasn't the most comfortable car, but it had like all the modern shit. But the problem was I couldn't figure out where to park it because I don't really want to park a car on the street in front of my house anymore because I don't want my car to get hit. I'm kind of paranoid about it
Yeah,
now.
dude, rightfully so. Like, a car just hit you overnight and totaled your car. Like, fuck that.
Yes, but like it's kind of tough figuring out where to park. So anyway, I had parked on my driveway, and I was kind of like, since there are a couple cars there, I was pulled over all the way to like the left side or the right, the left side in the car. And my sister was around, and she was leaving, and she backed up into the rental car, pulling out of the garage, just right into the side of the rental car.
Jesus Christ.
And yeah, like it's basically the same exact thing that happened before. So it did a ton of damage to the rear quarter panel on the passenger side and that rear door. So I just was dealing with this. Like, technically, I wasn't even in the car, so it doesn't matter to my insurance or anything like that. But it's still a family member that did it. So while she's paying for the stuff and she hit the car, it still is annoying, right? And when I returned the car, which also was an experience because I had to return the car on Sunday, which they closed on, and it had damage to it. So I had to return it at a time where someone could see it, but I had work the next day for the entire time that they were open. And if I didn't return it, they were going to start charging me for the car daily because that was the end. That would be after the time for the car, for me to have it was over. So I had to return it overnight, like do like the key drop thing, and then just call them as they opened the next morning before I went to work and be like, by the way, this happened. Here's the number of the person that you want to talk to about the damage to this car.
Lord.
So like, I don't know, there's just some circumstances revolving like around that whole thing, but otherwise it was okay. Like the car was fine. I drove it for a month and put 500 miles on it. So
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I was just curious because I'm probably gonna rent a car for a couple of days, and
I mean, yeah, if you're like gonna go in and rent a car, like people do that, especially in our area, just to take trips in. They'll go and they'll rent a car for a couple of days so that they can drive to wherever they're going and then have it for the trip and not put a bunch of miles on their own car.
yeah, that's true.
That's actually a pretty common practice.
It's like the only privilege we get as being 25-year-olds that I was just curious about.
Oh yeah, and having just recently turned 25, that whole experience was super easy for me.
Yeah.
When my car got hit, I was just talking to my insurance. They're like, "Do you need a rental car?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to get to work until I buy a new one or we fix it or whatever." They're like, "Okay, no problem. Here's the number of Enterprise, which is who we work with. Here's a claim number. Call this number and they'll get you a car." So I ended up having to call a couple different enterprises because it was kind of, it was a Saturday. And eventually one called me back. I was like, "Yeah, I got a car." I was like, "Okay, great."
Would you go with Hertz?
No, I used Enterprise just because that's the company that my insurance specifically works with. So if I used a different company, which I could have, they still would have covered it, but it would have had to bill me first. And I was like, "Nah, it's okay. Just bill the insurance company."
Yeah. I don't want to do reimbursement.
Yeah. I was just like, and then they still ended up taking like $100 deposit on my card, which I got back later. It's fine.
That's fine.
Otherwise,
what were you renting?
I said this already. 2018 or 2019 Nissan Sentra.
Okay.
A new one.
You did say that, and I guess it was like over my head that was the one you rented.
It's all good.
Cool. You guys ready?
Hold on.
Man.
Okay, I'm ready.
I slept a lot last night, but being up since 5 a.m. just in general. So.
Yeah. Having the 4th off, then having one more day of work, then having this weekend off has been nice.
Nice.
But I'm like slowly slipping into the thing where like I can't sleep in past like 11 a.m. and it makes me sad.
You're becoming old, Tony, before our eyes. All right. On 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, got a nice itch on my shoulder right there. Ooh, yeah. Let's really get this party started. Let me I'm gonna double check one thing. Okay. still good, it looks like. All right. It is Friday, July 6th, 2018, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast. I am your host, Alex O'Neill, and joining me this week, we have Scott Guthier.
Hello.
Tony Horvath.
I'm here.
And that's it.
That's it.
I feel like I try and do it where I say "and" before the last person. And I felt like I was setting myself up for failure on that one. At some point, Brian Nobishan Jackson will be joining us. He's just not here right now. He had to close at work. So he's doing work, as the kids say. I'm pretty sure that's what the kids call it. Is that right, Tony?
Uh,
I think you are the hippest of all of us.
Damn, that's quite a compliment.
I'm just saying you're up with the memes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I could have sounded like an older man in that moment. You're up with the memes. I believe you're woke with the memes.
All right.
We got a great show lined up. It's going to be a chill week. I'm a little sleepy. I think we're all a little sleepy. But that's okay. We were not here last week. We've missed 2 weeks in June, and I apologize for that. It's E3 month, and we missed 2 weeks. There's a lot going on. We had a busy June on the personal level. So forgive us for that. But we're now out of my summer vacation era. No more Kind of Funny traveling. They're not doing a Kind of Funny live event next year. So we don't have to worry about this bullshit again. We're ready to roll. It's from here till Game of the Year. It's just one day. It's what it feels like sometimes. But we got a great show lined up for all of you. Like I said, Nobishan will be joining us in the show a little bit later once he gets off work. And that means we'll have plenty of video games to talk about. And there's no news. I didn't pull any news. Oh, excuse me. I've got all the hiccups. I didn't pull any news for this week's podcast. There was nothing really that grabbed my eye that I think we would have a good time talking about. Some stuff happened, but who cares, right? Video games, am I right? But to kick things off with a little bit of housekeeping, IrrationalPassions.com is where Irrational Passions Podcast lives. And there's a team of incredible writers and producers that work very hard there. And you should check out the cool stuff that they make for it. And here are some things that have posted in the last 2 weeks that we've been away that you should check out. One, review of Just Shapes and Beats by good old Scott White. It's a very cool game. I'll say he really knocked it out of the park with that review as far as kind of describing how chill that game is. Tony and I played it at PAX East 2016. It's a cool game. And the final game, I'm happy to say, is equally as cool. There is a review and a video review up for Mario Tennis Aces by Mike Burgess. That game seems all right. He seemed to like it a lot more than most other critics out there. I think it really scratched his multiplayer itch. But I've definitely been seeing a lot of people playing Mario Tennis. I wish I liked Mario Tennis, but not quite my jam. George Cruz wrote a review for Jurassic World Evolution. It was also his very first video review. I'm so proud of him. He cut together that video himself. He did a video, or he had narrated a video review before for Shape of the World that Mike Burgess had cut together. But George actually produced this video. It was a little bit of a collaborative effort, but I think it came out great. It's a little bit of a different style too. So if you are enjoying our video reviews, I would encourage you to go check that out. It's a really great review. Jurassic World Evolution seems like a really funny game. It's also narrated by Jeff Goldblum, which kind of makes me want to play it for that reason alone. And the second episode in Mike Burgess' series called Game in Progress is basically he's going back and checking in on games that are out but have new DLC or expansions or updates and kind of giving his thoughts and feelings on those updates. This second episode was about the Donkey Kong Adventure DLC for Mario plus Rabbids, the Kingdom Battle, the RTS or tactical strategy game from Ubisoft. and he liked it a lot. It seems really cool. He tried a little bit of a different approach, still kind of evolving the formula for that series, and I thought it came out really great, much like the first episode on Splatoon 2. So if you like that, or if you like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, or if you like Donkey Kong, just in general, there is a Cranky Kong Rabbid in that game that I was not aware of, and he's pretty fucking good. I'm gonna let you know. He's Cranky Kong and also a really dumb rabbit. So all boxes are being checked. That's all the stuff that's been up on IrrationalPod.com. Plenty more to come. We're working on new stuff. We've got a new show launching next month. We might actually have 2 new shows launching next month for me and the writing team. So stay tuned for that. I'm pretty excited about. I saw a promo. We're like trying to work on a promotion video for both of them, but one of them is cut and done, and I was watching it, and it's pretty hype. I'm not gonna lie. With all that said and done, let's talk about video games.
Okay.
I played a few things, so I figure I'll knock mine out, and then we can kind of get into it. I finished Hollow Knight in my recent trip to San Francisco. The last time I talked about it a couple weeks ago, it's a little over 30 hours in. I think it was like 35 hours in. And I was I had done everything I wanted to do. There's a lot of extra stuff in that game, as I talked about last week. I don't want to go on too much longer about it. I pretty much sought out the final boss since then, and there are 3 endings to that game, and I wanted to get all 3 of them, so I went and got all 3 of them. I'll say, like, there is a third, I guess it's a secret final boss that you have to do a few things to kind of get access to, and that motherfucker is tough. A lot of parts of Hollow Knight are really, really difficult, and that's part of the reason why I really like that game. And that last fight in Hollow Knight is very much this is like, it's touching on all the parts about this game that I really, really like, and really delivering on all cylinders. I feel like it's very common for like a hidden boss to do that, kind of like in Dark Souls 3, right? Like the final boss of that game is fine, it's pretty tough. It's not too hard if you have friends with you, but then there's like the hidden boss of that game, the Dragon Rider, or Dragon King. Do you remember the name of that guy, Tony?
No idea.
But the guy that rides a dragon.
Escapes me.
And that's like the real final boss, and it's kind of like the real final boss for the Souls trilogy, and I thought it was really excellent, and very difficult, and very like, it is touching on all these different aspects of Dark Souls, from like you're fighting a big beast, and then you are fighting a relatively human-sized guy, and like timing is really tight, and it's very difficult, but very satisfying when you beat it. I felt like the final fight in Hollow Knight was very reminiscent. There are different forms, or like different phases of the fight that challenge you in different ways.
Even the Nameless King, by the way, right?
The Nameless King, yes.
Yeah.
Did you just pull that, or did you look it up?
I was like racking my brain. I was like, oh yeah, I made YouTube videos about this guy.
Yes.
So I just pulled out my YouTube videos.
Nice. But yeah, it very much reminded me. It had echoes of the Nameless King. I think the final boss is called the Radiance, which is also like a good, imposing name. Yeah, so I beat that. Got the kind of third best ending, true ending, whatever. But because I was playing it on my flight to San Francisco, and I kind of didn't want it to end. I was in that situation. So I went and I didn't plan on doing this, but I went and collected everything in the game. So I went and 100% completed it. So when I finished it, my final game clock was 42 hours and 7 minutes, and I had 105% completion, because that's just how fucking Metroidvanias work. I guess there's always more than what you need. I don't know. I don't understand the over 100% completion thing. But yeah, Hollow Knight is phenomenal. It's probably one of my favorite games I've played in the last 4 years. It is absolutely excellent. It is one of the best Metroidvania games ever made, in my opinion. And I'm looking to do more like content wise with it. I might write a review, but beyond that, I want to do some other stuff with it, just because it's so compelling. I would encourage both of you to check it out if it holds any interest for either of you. It's on Switch, it's on PC, and it's all the what's cool is like they've done multiple DLCs for it, and all of them have been free, and they add new side quests and abilities and things like that. And they're already planning, I think, like 3 more updates now that it's come to Switch. So I think that's really cool. They just announced today that the PC version has sold over 1 million copies now, which I was super ecstatic to hear. So I hope it seems to have done very well on Switch because it's like the number 1 on the sales charts in the eShop. So
Cool.
Yeah, really big fan.
I mean, that's where I pick it up.
Yeah, that's where I would like. It was such a perfect Switch game for me. I would recommend it, Scott. But even so, like, it is on PC as well. $15 too. Like, I got the fucking bang for my buck out of that game. But yeah, Hollow Knight, excellent. If listeners out there, if you've not heard about it, check it out. I would highly recommend it. I've also been playing Tales of Vesperia on the side. I mentioned that last episode. There's not anything to add to that. I've just continued to play that. I'm like 18 hours into it, and I'm like, I wonder if like I shouldn't play this before this game, the remaster comes out or definitive edition comes out in December. But I'm like, I don't give a fuck. This game's so good. The Fortnite came out on Switch, and my friends in San Francisco have been way big on it. Specifically Barrett Courtney, who I was staying with. So we ended up playing a bunch of Fortnite together. Which I've never actually played Fortnite with another person. It's one of the, like, I've played PUBG with other people, but Fortnite was one of those things I'd never actually played with anyone else, which I'm sure, Tony, you can attest is maybe the best way to play that game.
I mean, if you're gonna play it in the first place, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think the solo experience in the game is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's real fast. It's much faster than PUBG.
Yeah, you can get through
the
matches in 20
downtime in
minutes.
PUBG is filled with antics with your friends, which
Yes.
is one of the big reasons why I was an advocate for multiplayer in PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fortnite being so fast, it's okay to play solo, but fucking around with your friends in those kind of games is always fun.
Yeah, especially when you can get in a shopping cart and have somebody push you around.
Hell yeah.
Which is fun. But yeah, so like it was the first time I got to play with anybody. So I played a lot with Barrett. I played a little bit with Joey Noel, also a friend of the show, and played a little bit with Brian Kessinger, who is also staying with us. He is a cool dude on the internet at Brian Makes Games on Twitter. He works for NetherRealms. Very cool guy. I got to know him a lot over the week, and he's very funny. But yeah, so I actually playing with Barrett and Brian. We actually had our first win my first win ever in Fortnite. My first victory royale, as it is called. And that was fun. But yeah, just playing with Barrett, we did duos a little bit. We did groups of 3 as well a lot. That was a lot of fun. I got a very different experience with that. I like making forts with people.
Mm-hmm.
That was my my general feeling. I switched to the Builder Pro control scheme. I don't know what options are available on PC, where I know you've played, Tony, but Builder Pro, for those who don't know, essentially switches all the 4 different building options to the 4 different shoulder buttons. As opposed to cycling through your 4 options, you tap, like, the ground is always L2, right? You tap L2 and then you switch to ground, you tap it again, you can start making ground. R1 is always wall. So like it's a cool different way to play that game, and that is what all the quote unquote pro players recommend.
Man,
Yeah, you know me, MLG Pro at Fortnite.
becoming a pro.
I'm very bad at Fortnite. Surprising no one. Yeah, I still have fun, so that's what matters. But that was a fun time to kind of jump around in. And the only other thing of note, there was one other major thing I forgot about. But one of the other things of note, I bought Ease 8, which just came out on Switch. I kind of talked about playing the demo earlier this year. Ease is long-running JRPG series, Ease 8. The kind of gist of it is you're part of a ship that gets attacked by a monster, and the ship crashes into an island, and you're like stranded on a desert island. and you are essentially working with the captain and some members of the crew to explore the island and find resources, find supplies, survive, and find and rescue different members of the crew and of the passengers of the ship. And as you find more people, you can kind of like work together to get through different obstacles. It's a little bit Metroidvania in that aspect, and it's a little bit, it's very much like JRPG-esque JRPG. It's cool. It's pretty. It runs well on Switch. Doesn't look amazing in TV mode. It's very, very, very aliased, if that bothers you, but it doesn't really bother me. So that's just, I have not played a lot of it. I played about 3 hours of it, got kind of through the JRPG hump to where that demo that I played on PS4 took place. And I've just been having a good time with that. The other like real main thing that I do want to talk about is The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which came out for free at the end of June. This is, for folks who don't know, it is from the developers of Life is Strange. It is set in the Life is Strange universe, and it is essentially kind of like a prologue leading into Life is Strange Season 2, which this last week they announced, the first episode of which is coming up September 27th. It is totally free. It's about 2-ish hours long if you do everything in it. And it is very much like styled. It is like Life is Strange. It is like a third-person game where you walk around, and it's an adventure game where you make choices and hang out and talk to people and kind of like live in that world. But Life is Strange, the original season, was only ever for PS3, 360, and Xbox One, PS4. So this one is very much a technical leap forward. It runs very, very smooth. I was playing on PS4 Pro, so I can't necessarily say if Life is Strange 1 ran better on Pro. I don't know. But it runs smooth, looks great. The UI enhancements and changes that they made since the original season of Life is Strange were great. The idea is you play a young boy, I believe he's 8 years old. His name is Chris. And it is Saturday in December of 2016. He has the day off from school. He's done all of his homework, and it's snow about. He lives in Oregon, so it's very snowy. So he's just him waking up in the morning, living his Saturday off from school, as this 8-year-old kid with a beautiful imagination, and it is absolutely phenomenal. It touched my soul. In a way, like, I love teen drama and I'm a big sap, so I think it kind of touches on both of those things, very much like the original season of Life is Strange is. If you like that original season of Life is Strange, in a lot of ways, I think this is even better, and it's just like this one standalone 2-hour thing. They said like this is going to kind of, some characters from this might come into play in season 2 of Life is Strange and some events. There are hints to it. There are a couple of things that maybe stood out to me, but I don't know for sure. But it was just beautiful. Like, there's a lot going on in that family dynamic. It's just Chris and his dad. The kind of day starts off with Chris drawing up this superhero that he embodies, called Captain Spirit, and you get to design Captain Spirit's costume. And basically Captain Spirit has just these kind of very general telekinetic superpowers, like he can focus and like make things blow up, or turn on TVs and turn off TVs, or make things levitate and move. And it's really cool because the story of that game is like two parallel stories. It's like the emotional story of like Chris's relationship with his dad, and how like the mother died relatively recently, and how that relationship dynamic has changed. And it's like the 2-year anniversary, like they're right around the day that she died 2 years prior, and how like a lot of feelings are kind of bubbling to the surface around that. But there's also like this kind of really cool story of like Chris running around the house and pretending he's Captain Spirit, and like turning these very mundane tasks into like an adventure that a superhero would go on. Like he had to Chris kind of was like taking care of the house in a way because his dad's not super all together. So he had like turned on the water heater, but like the water heater's in like the basement and it's like really dark and scary. So he imagined himself like going through like this big scary water maze in order to fight the water beater is what he called it, which it's like, man, like they turned this very mundane thing and reimagine it through the imagination of an 8-year-old kid and made it something really special because it's a video game and you can like change everything. And like those two stories of like the story of Captain Spirit and like Chris's family dynamic both kind of go through and then they come to a head at the same time in a really, really great way. I don't want to spoil it, but I thought the ending was phenomenal. And as far as like a totally free 2-hour thing that you can just download and play right now on Xbox One and PS4, I cannot recommend it enough, especially if you liked Life is Strange. If you didn't like Life is Strange, I would say you're probably not going to like this, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, I really liked it. It really gave me the feels, so to speak. But that's the only other major thing I've been playing. Scott, what about you? What you been playing?
Honestly, I forget.
Okay.
So the one thing I do remember playing is I said I'd do it. I did it.
Okay.
I got Blossom Tale. I played it.
Oh, heck yeah. What'd you think of it?
It's not finished.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm on the last bit.
Mm-hmm.
I got all the things, and I gotta find that last zone in the top corner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure after I do that, game's over.
Probably. Yeah, that sounds right. That game's okay.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's pretty funny, I think. I like the way that the story's told, like through the grandpa telling the two kids the story, very Princess Bride-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the dungeons are really good, actually.
I think the dungeons are okay. And the main reason is because it's kind of how easy you can blow through each one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that this last bit is the last thing that I have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like there should be a good 6 more.
Yeah. It's very much like there's just 4 of these, okay?
Yeah, it's like, this is only a couple of these, and this is not that hard.
Yeah.
Like for example, I've had to use 1 potion, and because I've just grown accustomed to being so careless because I can be,
Mm-hmm.
I've had to use 1 revive pedal.
Okay.
And I've got like 8 potions and 6 revive pedals still.
Yeah, you're decked out. Yeah, I'll say
So,
like
I
okay.
didn't have to do anything for them.
Yeah, they just kind of give you to them throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say like one of the things that did kind of wear on me was like the those puzzles where you have to walk on. You can only walk on all of the different pieces of the floor once. I was like, man,
so much of that.
yeah, there's
like,
a lot of that.
I've solved all of these in 1 go, and if it wasn't 1 go, it's because I misstepped.
Yeah, it's just y'all. Give me another, or like the singing stones, like the Simon Says puzzle, where you have to hit them all in the. It does it, and then you have to hit them in the right order. I'm like,
it's like, come on, man, this one's too long.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. But I thought it's fun, you know. It's like I think it's like $10.
15.
15.
But, I mean, it's well worth it.
Yeah. It's a cool Switch game.
So yeah, the other thing is I kind of wish they weren't so tongue in cheek with it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very much at this point it very much so seems like a one and done thing,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, you could have built something more out of that.
Yeah, you could have like done something, and yeah, I mean they were very much going. They were having fun with it, so I appreciate it. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Cool.
I don't know. I'll see how it ends.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you think of how it ends. I think it's cool. It's weird. The big thing is to me is like tonally, it kind of feels like a kid's game, but I think like it's like a little too tough to be an actual kid's game.
No, the game, the game dishes out a lot of damage, but it gives you. Yeah, I can see how it feels that way because the game likes to dish out a lot of damage, and it doesn't exactly give you a whole lot to protect yourself with from the damage. The
Mhm.
big difference is it drops you a lot of hearts along the way, and the damage is dealt out in multiple hits
Okay.
instead of. I guess the best way to put it is it dishes out a lot of hits, but it doesn't dish out a lot of damage.
Okay. I get you.
As for comparison in Zelda, some enemies will hit you for a quarter heart, some will hit you for five,
Yes.
and that's like in the 2D games.
Yeah.
That's how that'll work.
Yeah.
But you always have your shield out in front of you, and that gets bigger and it gets better as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. Those goddamn Lionels will hit you for fucking 20 hearts.
So, and you can also use your sword to block other people in Zelda.
Yeah.
In this game, I'm pretty sure it's not a thing.
Yeah.
So it's you can basically face tank half your hits, and then as you're slashing along, something will drop a heart that'll give you back what was taken from you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And as we said earlier, the game gives you revive after revive. You can essentially go ahead and die on each boss, revive on each boss, and continue to kill it without learning how to really dodge or block anything.
Yeah. That's a good point. I would say, and I don't know, maybe I'm curious if you agree, it's like, it's a pretty good Zelda-like for $15. Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're digging it though. Curious to see what you think once you finish it. Is that all you've been playing, or all you remember you've been playing?
Well, I mean, more on it, because especially for that last bit,
Yeah.
it's the ice. The last boss that I fought was the ice one,
Yeah.
and his stuff is near impossible to both dodge and do damage to him.
Yes. I didn't like.
That's the key thing here is that you don't have to care.
Okay.
You can go ahead, use the first item you got in the game, or roughly the second, the bomb and the arrow, and you can just keep chucking bombs.
You can keep chucking bombs like a
You just
motherfucker
keep
in that
chucking
game.
bombs, and that'll do enough damage to face tank just about everything he throws at you when you have time to do damage to him.
Man, I had a lot of trouble with that fight. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think what I was doing, you get like a fire spell that I kept using on him there, I think. Maybe I was just going about it the wrong way. Maybe I fucked up, Scott. Let's be real, that's more than likely what happened. Anything else?
Shield doesn't work in that fight either.
It doesn't, no.
Because what happens is it after the icicle hits this part, the part that so after the icicle lands, it turns into an ice thing on the ground,
Yes. And then it's just in your way.
and it's just in your way. And the fire spell doesn't help you with it, and neither does your shield.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I wish I could just hit this with my sword and get rid of it, but
Yeah. So the only solution I had for that particular one is you wait in anticipation for the land. You don't hit him with your spin attack. You hit him with your jump attack
okay.
because you're invulnerable doing that.
Okay. That's a good call.
But then again, you could also just throw a bomb and eat the damage.
Yeah, true.
You do enough damage with the bomb or the arrow to kill him.
Yeah. I wonder if that game has a new game plus and I finish it. I remember. I'd play it again. quickly. Just blast through it. Anything else on that?
That'd be all that one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I tried a couple other things, but we'll let it slide for now.
Okay.
I'll
Sure.
get back to the other things I played eventually.
Yeah.
Find out what they were.
We are in the dearth of summer, so we got not a lot of news and plenty of time to talk about video games. So.
And not a lot of new games.
And not a lot of new games, although Octopath Traveler comes out next Friday.
I don't know what that is.
It's a cool kind of classic style JRPG made by the guys that made Bravely Default. I think it might be worth you looking into, Scott.
Yeah.
It's got a very cool art style. There's a free demo out on Switch that's like the first 3 hours of the game that you can play, so I'd maybe check it out. Tony,
Hey,
fill me with some video games.
so I'm playing League of Legends.
Yo, so Tony, I want to talk about League of Legends.
Okay.
What's it like to be just a league slut again?
It's all right. I mean, like, League has always provided just like infinite amount of you could play this game whenever you want. And that's all right. Like I've always been the kind of gamer who's like, I want to play one game for a long time
Yeah.
and get good at this game until next game comes out, and I'll do that again. So like, and plus like I suck at League, so like there's a lot of room to get better. But yeah, like I don't know, it can get boring because all the time I'm playing by myself. But it's all right. Like, it's just League. It is what it is.
I'm really curious because like you got way into Dota for a minute there, Dota 2 to be specific. Was there a reason why you went back to League over Dota, or is it just kind of like ease of getting back into it? And...
Yeah, a friend was like, "Hey, you should play this game with me," and I was like, "All right."
So someone
And then
enabled
they-
you, is what you're saying.
And then they didn't play the game anymore.
What a
so-
fucking jerk.
yeah.
So basically, what they did is they were like, "Hey, man, you should get addicted to this thing," and they gave you cocaine, and then they stopped taking cocaine, and now you can't stop.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
fair
It is
enough.
what it is.
Hey, if you're having fun playing League of Legends, which I assume you are, more power to you. Is
I got
that
Scott to play with me a little bit.
Oh, nice.
That was
Yeah.
intense.
Scott, what did you how did you feel about all these new fucking fangled characters?
Pike's a little weird.
Pike's pretty cool, man.
They all sound pretty cool. Like there's a lot of emo ladies,
Other than that,
Yeah, I feel you. I would say, I have a question, Tony. Is the League of Legends community equally as toxic?
I don't know. Like, I don't think that there's like a baseline level of toxicity in every single game, regardless.
Yes.
But and I mean any game of League of Legends, regardless. And I think that I wouldn't say it's noticeably more or less than last time, but I didn't think it was all that bad previously. Actually, no, I would say it's probably less. I think that since the game is a little bit less popular now and all the kids are playing Fortnite, it's all right. Like, it's fine. Plus, I'm not playing in like Bronze 5 matches anymore, so like with like the rabble,
The gosh damn animals.
yeah.
Okay, what?
I was put there once, and I was like, wow.
You're all wild animals with t-shirts on. Some of you
Yeah.
without t-shirts on.
It
Hell
makes
yeah.
it so easy to win.
Yeah.
It really makes it so easy to win.
I feel like you can also make it easy to lose, though, because you can get on a team where no one fucking tries, right?
Well, that's the thing. If you're on a team where no one tries, you have one person trying in the game, and that's you.
And then you win, because you're just
And
pulling
then
the
you
whole
win.
team.
Because you're the only person trying.
That's pretty good. Sure. What else you been playing outside of League?
Let me see. I'm playing that, and I picked up Darkest Dungeon and all of its expansions
Nice.
because it's on sale, or it was on sale, and I think that sale ended. The summer sale on Steam. It was all on sale, so I picked it up for like $10. I haven't had a chance to play a bunch of it yet,
Okay.
but I'm really excited to play the new expansion stuff that just came out for the game. I've always liked Dark Dungeon, so
Yeah.
But I did boot it up and play like the first 2 weeks, which is the first 2 dungeon crawls, basically. And it's easy to fall in love with that game and like the atmosphere that it puts you in, and obviously the narrator. I think like it's the same kind of thing like with the narrator as kind of like in Stanley Parable. I think they're very different narrators, but it's the same idea. Like you're going to fall in love with this narrator. And like I look forward to hearing whatever it is like that this narrator is gonna react to, however I'm doing something. And like his one-liners for like when you kill an enemy they're awesome. So it really adds to the atmosphere of the game. I think that's really cool. So there's that, and it's one of those games where you're playing with a bunch of different like champions or whatever. You can name them. So I've got my Irrational Passionistas named characters. I've got Scott, Alex, Navish, and me were the first 4, and then I've just been going through.
And they all got
people.
fucking murked.
I mean, Scott's killing people as usual.
Yeah, I feel like the thing. Anytime you make Scott a character on your team in any video game, he's so fucking overpowered. I don't understand. I always make my sniper in XCOM Scott, and it's immediately just like, wow, he hit Colonel rank so quick, and he's headshotting
suckers. Happens to be the best person on my team every
it's
time.
So fucked up. It's really funny though. But the thing is, you have to quit the game if Scott dies.
Yeah, you can't win if Scott's dead.
Exactly. It's like a secret rule.
Yes, when that happens to your sniper, he took all the kills.
He takes all the kills.
Guy who took all the kills and dies, that's game over.
That's game over, yeah. Well, it's like the emotional support, like, oh, I don't know who's going to carry the team emotionally now. It's a whole thing.
It's real fucked up.
Yeah, I keep seeing Darkest Dungeon on Switch. It goes on sale every now and again. I'm like, oh, shoot, should I bite the bullet? One of these days I will.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So that one, I picked that up, but I've been playing just a little bit of it. Mostly what I've been playing is Slay the Spire.
Tell me about Slay the Spire. Explain what kind of game this is.
So it's a deck building roguelike.
Whoa.
And that sounds crazy, and it is, but it's real good crazy.
Okay.
I bet this game will be on Switch soon, so don't worry.
Thank God.
I think the developers are working on it. But so the way that it works, there are 3 different classes, and you could kind of think of the classes as like warrior from Hearthstone, mage from Hearthstone, or rogue from Hearthstone.
Okay.
It's not really anything like Hearthstone, but the cards are kind of similar. So like the warrior is all about building huge blocks, using your block to do damage, and like enraging to make yourself do more damage, making enemies vulnerable to make your basic attack cards do more damage than they normally would. But so anyway, the actual concept of the game is you are this champion, and you need to go up 50 floors of a spire and beat 3 bosses along the way. And you kind of get this map laid out in front of you. You pick a direction you want to go, and you can see like the next room that I'm looking at. I have 2 choices. I can either go to a room that has a monster in it, or go to a room that's a mystery room, has some random event in it, which could be like you find a goblin who wants you to play a flip over cards game. If you match the cards, whatever cards you match through 5 tries at this game, you get to keep those. And there's a bunch of random stuff that happens as you go. Every time you beat a monster, you get to choose from 3 cards or take none of. You choose to take 1 or none of those cards and improve your deck. And so you start with like 5 attack cards, 5 block cards, and then a couple random cards based on what class you are. And as you go, you're picking up the cards that you want. And if you go to a shop, you can pay money to get rid of a card. Some enemies, like if you go to a question mark, one of them might curse you and put a cursed card in your deck that you'd have to pay to remove later. And if you draw that, it might be like you can't play this card, but it deals 2 damage to you if it's in your hand at the end of your turn, something like that. So you're kind of going through these rooms. You're playing, like you draw 5 cards, do whatever you can with your energy for that turn, and then try and kill all the monsters. You can see what the monsters are going to do, so you know if you need to like play defense cards. Say you have 2 monsters that you're fighting. One's going to do 10 damage next turn, the other one's going to do 15. You want to try and get 25 block if possible. Otherwise, you need to figure out some other way to do it, because you don't heal between fights. So any damage you don't block, you take with you. And the only way to get that back is either beat the boss and move on to the next big floor, the next third of the dungeon, or stop at a rest site. And to make all of this more complicated, as you're going through, in some chest rooms, some random other rooms, whenever you beat an epic monster, which are just harder regular fights, or a boss, you get a relic, which a lot of the time you don't get to choose. You get to choose one of 3 boss relics, all randomly generated, and these relics can do things like gain an extra energy at the start of the turn, but you can't rest at rest sites anymore. Or if you're vulnerable, you take 25% more damage instead of 50% more damage. Or if you're playing the mage, channel 1 lightning at the beginning of every combat, something like that. So there's a bunch of different random effects, kind of like Binding of Isaac. You're just picking them up and making combos. You're trying to work with what the game gives you, and intuitively build your deck as you proceed up the spire to work with all of these relics and keep you alive as you go through and eventually beat the end boss. It's really cool. It sounds a lot more complicated than I think it actually plays out to be, but it kind of boils down to just a good time fighting. It's a roguelike, right? So if you die, you have to restart.
Yeah, I think what's cool is like a roguelike in its sense. I think really fits the idea of like a deck building game.
Yeah, it's really well done. I think this concept is.
It's a cool combination, because it makes me think of like the arena in League of Legends, where you're like,
yeah,
I'm doing this one time, build this deck, and just kind of going and see how far I can take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I was looking at some screenshots while you're talking about it. It sounds cool.
Yeah, so it's got that thing of like most roguelikes that are on Steam nowadays, where to keep people playing. I think that it's still in early access, by the way, so they're still working on it. I think it should come out of early access pretty soon, and they tweeted out a while ago that they're going to work on a Switch version as soon as it exits early access.
Mm-hmm.
But there are 3 classes in there, and it's a super neat game.
Yeah, it seems cool. It's like I said, like we both said, I think it's a cool idea. Is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, that's really it. I completely missed what I was getting to. Like they had a bunch of games on Steam. It's got like a daily challenge mode.
Okay.
So you can go in and play your daily challenge, kind of like Spelunky or any of those other games.
Doing your dailies.
Exactly. So you get to go in there, and their modifiers is like you start with 50 cards instead of 20 or whatever, and they're all random. So it really lets you kind of have at it and then finish it. So I've beaten the game twice now out of like 20 runs, and it's really cool. It feels good when you get the combos that you've been building towards to go off together, and you get to basically destroy the enemy and be like, look at this thing that I've been working on for 30 floors. It worked. So
that's cool.
Game.
Yeah, I'm into it. I think that's it for video games. The thing is, like, I expected Nobshin to be here. He's not. Maybe he'll jump in here at some point. I'm just gonna check one thing, and then maybe we can mosey our way onto our first break, and then we can take some questions afterwards. It's what? Today's July 6th. I said that at the beginning, but I'm very much just a mess right now.
Speaking of,
look at that. The Nobshin arrived. Hi, Nobshin.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Are you ready to rumble?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna count you in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Join us now, the one, the only Brian Nobshin Jackson.
Hi.
Hi. How are you feeling, Nobshin?
I just got off work, so not the greatest.
Yeah, I'm tired. Nobshin, how would you feel about talking about video games?
I haven't really played anything, so nothing on my side, really.
Have you played The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit?
No, I don't have my PS4.
Okay. Where's your PS4?
Katie borrowed it when I went out of town. She played Until Dawn with her boyfriend, so.
Oh, nice. Nice. I would say, as the resident equal parts Life is Strange representative, you should play that. Because you played Before the Storm, right?
Loved it.
Which now I'm feeling the hankering to play. Did that, like, performance-wise, perform better than Life is Strange, like, frame rate and all that?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, definitely so.
Okay.
I think because there's even like a pro mode and stuff like that, so you could do per you could prefer the frame rate or the resolution. So
Okay. I wasn't sure because the Captain Spirit like ran and felt very well, and as far as I could see, there was no like pro mode specifically. But did you in your travels across the country? Did you play anything on your Switch?
no, always make the same mistake of pretty much bringing my Switch like from on a plane, which I never do. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Do you sleep on planes? I think is that the real determining factor.
I slept this time.
Okay.
More and more that's because I had to because um going back and forth. Well, going yeah, I was on 2 hours sleep when I went there, so that was the excuse to sleep then. And then like when I went back, I left at midnight. Didn't get there to my next stop till like 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like yeah, I was pretty much tired.
Dude, I feel you. I I had a whole traveling day. um, cool. My only other question before I think we're gonna take a quick break here, which is great. You come back just in time for break. Do you know if any news happened?
Like any news?
Any news? Any news that we would talk about? 'Cause some news happened, but
I don't even know when the last time we talked about this.
it's true. The last time we talked about news, we did the top 10 news stories of E3.
We definitely talked about the Fortnite thing, right? With PlayStation.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I like kind of slipped in when I talked about Captain Spirit, the release date for Life is Strange Season 2, Episode 1. So
Okay.
knock that one out. So I think there's no news. I didn't pull any.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything significant. I think at least.
We are in the summer months. We're living in it. Cool. Then let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will take some questions, assuming we have some, and then make some bets. I think we got to do that. Got to resolve some bets, and then we'll throw it out. So we will be back.
We have bets?
We have bets, dude.
What was the bet?
Well, there's a bet from 2 weeks ago. It's just like
What's the bet? I don't know.
do you remember it? We'll get to it when we get there. We had a bet. It was like normal end of the show bet. It was a very simple bet.
Okay.
And that'll be that. So we will be back in just a little bit. How you feeling, bud?
Just tired.
Dude, all of us came in tired. It is just it's a sleepy day. I've been up since 5 a.m. So I'm sure you've probably been up since 5 a.m. too. So I feel you. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick. Nobishin, could I ask you to come up with a good bet for this week?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Cool. I will be right back, guys.
Comes out next week. How's your car, Tony?
Oh, you missed it. We talked about it a lot. It's good. It's good. I definitely already talked about it for like 20 minutes though. So,
I mean, you don't have to repeat yourself, but like,
yeah,
like what's the enhancements from your other car? I guess you would say.
so my previous car was a 2008 Mazda 6, without it just had a CD player, and it was a Mazda. This new car is a 2014 Dodge Challenger. So it's got it doesn't have like the navigation system or whatever, but I don't need that. It's got a nice, the interior it's a 2-door car built on a 4-door car's frame.
It doesn't have a navigation system? That seems weird.
It's okay. Like they started putting them in the 2015.
Okay.
But it doesn't bother me. I use my phone anyway for that.
Right.
So I bought there's on July 4th they're having a sale on this website called ProClip USA, which sells like really nice phone mounts that fit into the trim of your car instead of attaching to an air vent or something. So I just got that in the mail today and installed it. So I just slide my phone in there, and connect like an aux cord and the USB that plugs directly into the car. And I could play music through either of them. I use an aux cord because the sound quality and volume is better. But the sound system inside is great. It's a really nice looking car on the outside. Rear wheel drive, much bigger engine. Feels like you're driving a race car basically. It's nice. If you put your foot down, you go. So
does it feel night and day from your old car?
Yeah. Yeah, like I think if I'll get addicted to rear wheel drive sporty cars, I think.
Automatic, right? Not a stick.
It's automatic. Yeah, I'm I could have bought a stick shift, but I'm lazy, man.
I got you.
So, yeah, man, it's real nice. It's a nice car. So, it's like I was telling the big thing that I was saying is like the first car that I looked to buy was one of these, but it was a little bit too expensive, and then I ended up finding the right deal like right at the deadline of when I was gonna have to, when I had to buy a car.
Right.
So, yeah, it's nice. Honestly, I was like, Scotty, you want me to come get you from Street Fatigue? Because I'll just drive. I was saying it's like one of the first cars that I've ever driven, and I'm like excited to go drive. And I don't know if that's, I think that's more than just it's a new car thing. So yeah, cool car.
Cool.
Plus, with the giant down payment from my insurance on the last car being totaled, my car payment is really low compared to like the American average of car payments per month.
Also, the insurance did cover it?
Well, the insurance, like when your car gets totaled, and you're not at fault for it because, like I said, I wasn't even in the car, right? They got hit overnight and totaled the car. Insurance pays out what the car is worth the moment before it is totaled. So because my car had like a new engine in it and everything, they ended up paying a bit more for it, and I used the entire check that that they gave me for that car plus like $150 to round it out to an even $1,000. To put like $6,000 down on the new car. So
yeah, I thought when you said like the whole accident happened and stuff like that, and you were talking about your insurance, I thought there was some bullshittery happening with that as far as the paying you back.
No, the bullshittery was just that it was very close to not being totaled, but they totaled it with it was like it ended up being like $20 over what would total the car or something. So it just, instead of me just being able to have that car repaired and keep driving it, I ended up having to buy a new one because they decided that it was just a little bit too much damage for them to fix.
Okay.
We talked hella cars earlier.
Yeah, we did.
It was good. It was good stuff. All right. Let me see. Get this ready.
Power on.
That was way louder than I wanted it to be.
Scott, you would really like Slay the Spire, I think.
Probably, yeah. But the next roguelike I'm getting into is definitely Legend Wizard.
For sure.
Cool. I've heard good things. Jarrett like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at buying a Switch coming up here, getting a new one. And
nice.
That's one of the things I'm looking at.
You get ones with the fun colors?
No.
Damn.
Into the breach.
Into the breach. Come to Switch. All right. Y'all ready? Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back, Nobshin.
Yeah.
It's good to have you. It's good to have us all together again.
Hell yeah.
Let's. So, I don't have much prepared, let's be honest, for this show. Because there's no news. I usually pull the news at a time. Nobshin, was there anything, because you weren't here for bonus content, for folks who don't know, we talk off topic, not about video games, in a 30 to 45 minute segment before the show. It's only viewable on youtube.com/irrationalpassions. In the video version of the show, cool thing about the video version, you get it early. Uncool thing about it, it's unedited, so it's raw, as I like to say. In that, when we talked off topic, we did talk about all the different vacations and car buying that we did over the last few weeks. Is there anything you wanted to talk about from your trip to SF, Nabishin?
No.
Nah, fuck that. This long ass preamble. Nah, it's good. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was awesome. I had a great time.
Mm-hmm. It was good to hang out. We had a cute brunch, I felt.
There is one thing I would like to say.
Yeah.
Because it was like it was still up in the air, like if you would be there or not at the moment when I was about to go, and like I was kind of like, oh, Alex is not there, so I don't have my anchor, so that'll be like kind of weird for me at the moment. But like like I went like a full freaking 2 days without even seeing you. We were in San Francisco, so like obviously Damien can help me out with that a lot. So like I think I got for the most part over my anxiety of actually being there, and I think that's a really good thing for me.
That is a really good thing. You were a blossomed flower, beautiful and wonderful there. So didn't win prom queen. Fucking Zyger won.
What a
But
queen.
what a jerk. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I thought you did great from an outside perspective. I mean, I know that doesn't mean much, but I had a great time.
Thanks for all the people who voted for me though, like Frank Pisani, Lisa A. Striker, Jason A. Striker,
Hell yeah, Jason.
Katie and Joe, and a whole bunch of people just reached out to me like, "Oh, I voted for you." Nicole, who I think she's the reason I even got into the nomination. So all these people, thank you. I feel good.
Yeah, I was happy that Blessing won prom king. I voted for Blessing for prom king. Who did you vote for king?
King? I honestly don't remember. It was either Blessing or Kaylee. I think I voted for Kaylee and Jessica.
Okay.
Jessica Howard to be prom king and queen, but I can't really remember. But it might have been Blessing though. I can't remember. Like it was like after his video when I did the voting. So it might have been Blessing, might have been Kaylee. I can't remember.
Yeah. Shout out to our friend of the show, Blessing Adeoye. Go just look up his current Twitter picture. At Blessing Jr. And just take in how fucking great it is. Yeah, Kind of Funny prom was a lot of fun. I went dressed as a Cuban drug dealer. So,
Hell yeah.
it was very good. Let's take a peek in the mail sack. You can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod. Just use the hashtag IPQ. We'll read them on the show. We'll have a good time. We didn't get a lot of questions this week, unfortunately, which is to say we got one. But it's a good one. From Speak of the Devil, Nicole Humphrey at NMH21105 on Twitter. Thank you, Nicole, as always, for sending your questions. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure this music doesn't stop randomly. Nicole says, this Tuesday I watched the entire 7th season of The Vampire Diaries, which is trash, but I love it. What's your favorite trash TV show? And to that I say, where do I begin? I'm curious what your guys' answers are. Because I watch, or I should say I watched a lot of trash TV. So I don't have a short list. What's your favorite trash TV show, Tony?
Trash TV show.
Is it what's the show? Is it not Pawn Stars?
You know that show's canceled, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Yep.
I'm not surprised. Was there like a controversial reason why?
Let's say there's too many plus, and there's too many like bad reasons, which is kind of sad because at the same time also the old guy on there died recently.
Oh no.
Rest in peace. He was like super cool dude, seemed like, so it kind of sucks. But there's just a bunch of stuff. Plus, like being a TV show makes it hard for you to be a pawn shop.
Yes.
So anyway,
Not
there's
not
some stuff.
the one where they go through like storage units, Storage Wars.
That was pretty trash.
That's pretty trash. I know you told me stories about that show. That's all. I think you were the one that told me about like the drug den that they found in one.
Probably, yeah.
What's your trash go-to TV?
Tough. Like, I don't really watch a lot of TV, so it makes it hard for me to have like a one that's like, this is my trash. But probably drive-ins and diners, drive-ins, and dives.
The Triple D.
Yeah, dude.
Gotta look out for Guy Fieri. Not Man vs. Food. Man vs. Food is quality television.
No. That's an excellent TV show, and I would thank you to not talk about him in a negative manner.
Absolutely, dude. I'm here with you. Fucking Man vs. Food is where it's at. Nobshin, what's your trash TV?
Does trash define like reality TV?
It doesn't have to be reality TV. In this case, she's using
white trash.
Basically, it's stuff that you would not talk about with us.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
That's how I could best put it.
Nicole is using the Vampire Diaries,
You'll
which
tell us that you'll watch it, but that's as far as you'll want to go.
Okay.
Nicole's using Vampire Diaries, which I've watched, and it's just like drama. It's just bad. It's just bad drama, you know.
Okay. It's weird for me now because I don't really watch TV like literally at all anymore. So like
Me either. So I'm with you.
but for something I used to watch and that I actually really liked when I was younger, and like I still quote it every once in a while, but like I know it's like terrible. Was Drawn Together when it was on Comedy Central.
Ooh.
That was like a really not PC show back in the day, and still isn't now, even more so now. And like I don't know, I enjoyed it for what that was, and like even though like I distanced myself from that show like almost entirely, like the comedy from it it's like ingrained in my DNA in certain ways. So like like it doesn't necessarily like vocally, but like something I think about and I laugh to myself like, oh yeah, like if I didn't care about people's feelings, I would say this joke right now, but like I don't say it at all. So it's like one of those things where it's like there's a lot of things in my past where like that I obviously don't play now, and nowadays that like the comedy is like helped influence me and helped make me grow and maybe the person I am now as far as like my comedy, but like it's not something I would endorse or talk about or even like even mention. So I guess that's like probably like the worst offender of trash TV that I have in my repertoire.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What about you, Scott?
That's the thing.
You don't really watch TV.
The closest thing that I would have would be the Flash. I stopped.
Yeah, me too. Flash would, I think, qualify though.
So I don't think that's fair. I'm not sure if cartoons would fall under this list.
It depends. It's weird because cartoons like are kids shows in a lot of cases that have something there for adults, but they know what they are,
Right. So it would be, I guess, in this case. No. If I had a list of the stuff that I watched kind of recently, I can probably give you one that's definite.
Okay.
But it's gonna have to be between the OKKO show and the Flash.
Okay.
But it's also kind of not, because I'm pretty sure Nobtune will really like OKKO.
If Nobshin likes it, it's not trash. That's what we've learned.
Fact.
Right.
I'm just saying, Nobshin, check out Man vs. Food. It's a great show. Let me give you some highlights. I just want to point out, Nicole Humphrey is in our live chat right now, and she did say there's a point in the Vampire Diaries where a vampire has babies that were moved into their body from a witch. Transfer babies into her body. Which I'm here for. That's some good trash.
That's
Supernatural
the kind of content
drama.
that I subscribed for.
Hell yeah. That's some good trash.
What?
Yeah, dude, it doesn't make any sense. I'm a witch. I have a baby. Let me put it in your body. You're a vampire. Have birth. Give birth.
Give birth to my baby.
So one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, because how it was worded initially.
Yeah, how
you read it. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
how the comment is written also is a little confusing, but listen, I'm not here to judge. Give you some highlights. One of my favorite TV shows ever is Bad, objectively, I think. It's Kyle XY, about boy without a belly button.
That the whole premise is like, I don't have a belly button. Watch me go to the park.
It is not the whole premise, but it's kind of like a big part of the thrust of it.
Is it because if he doesn't have a belly button, he couldn't have been born naturally?
I mean, yeah, like you and I, Scott, adults who understand like a little bit of science know that, but like everyone around them are like, I don't know what the fuck this means. Which is part of what makes it trash TV. Like he's like wet walking around Seattle like a newborn baby. Like he doesn't know anything, doesn't understand anything. Almost as if like he had just been born unnaturally, what am I say? And he has no belly button, and he gets like picked up and discovered, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck this means.
What the fuck is this guy?
What the fuck could this be? And it's like, yeah, he was born in a pod. Like, I think we can all. I know that. Yeah, you're gonna find that out like halfway into season 2. Like, way too. We drew this out way too long, y'all.
Yeah, it's like.
Again, I'm not defending Kyle XY. I just really like it.
It's not a bad premise.
No.
But at the same time, it sounds like some trash.
It's some good trash TV. I host a podcast about the OC. The OC is like classic trash. Like in 100 years, they're gonna look back and be like, "Y'all want to know what trash TV was? Look at the OC. That shit's solid gold garbage." But it's mostly because like most of the trash TV I watch is just so melodramatic. Like it's so over the top and ridiculous. You can't go through a single episode of the OC without someone getting a gun pulled on them, someone screaming at the top of their lungs at their parents, and someone like going into a drug coma. Like one of those things is happening, and it's varying degrees of ridiculous. I loved Bones when that was going on. That show is not good, but I enjoyed it. I love crime procedurals, which are like generally conceived as trash or perceived as trash. Yeah, just the list goes on and on and on, honestly. Iron Fist, I would qualify as trash TV. And I watched all 13 episodes of that. I wish it was better, but here we are. Yeah, a ton. The list is short. Not short. The list is long. Nabishin, this... Oh, go ahead.
If you were to make a OC drinking game, how would that go?
Ooh, man. There are... Man, ooh, I can think of some good ones. Like, anytime... there's a character, Marissa, who's the fucking worst. Just the worst, most selfish human being in the world. Anytime she does something for herself and no one else, that is like clearly just a horrible childish act of selfishness, drink. And honestly, that could be the only rule, and you would get drunk every fucking episode, guarantee it. But yeah, I watched that show in groups of 3. So you'd be throwing back shots pretty much to keep up. I can think of some good rules. Anytime Ryan enters a scene wearing a button-up shirt and a wife beater underneath of it, you can drink, because it's not like every scene, but it's most of them. Anytime Seth Cohen makes a self-deprecating joke, which is most of them. To give you an idea, Nabishin, since you're familiar with Jacob Bryant, friend of the show, Seth Cohen is Jacob Bryant's favorite fictional character. And there's a lot. Yeah, you can immediately is like, okay, if Jacob is anything like Seth Cohen, boy, there's gonna be a lot of self-deprecating humor. So yeah, it's a good show. Again, like it is very much, it is a little bit self-aware in how dramatic it is, and it's just fun for the ride. This wasn't a Twitter question, but I'm asking it because the chat asked it an option. How is Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I enjoyed it a lot. It's very, very entertaining. I don't think it's as funny as the as Ant-Man was. But like if you're going to like as a summer action movie, if you just want to get entertained, like that movie has that spades, like, and it's so entertaining. I just didn't feel like most of the jokes landed. So like if you're going into for comedy, like you might be a little bit disappointed, but like if you're going in for like entertainment, it's all there. It's really good. As far as that.
Would you say it's better or worse than the first movie, the first Ant-Man?
I think I liked the first Ant-Man more. That's because it made me laugh, and I thought it was like generally different than the other Marvel movies at that time, and like being someone who only watched like a few months ago for the first time. This one seems very it doesn't feel as different as that first Ant-Man movie was, I would say.
Okay, fair enough. I'm excited to see it. I just like, man, I wish I had time to go see it.
I have to watch it again tomorrow with my friend Tony. So
okay, I'm pretty sure you tweeted out that you wouldn't see it again.
Yeah, I totally did this.
It was not a movie you would want to watch again,
yeah.
Even if you enjoyed it. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it for questions. Thank you, Nicole, for sending a question in. Remember, you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with hashtag IPQ. We're gonna be a little bit, hopefully, more consistent for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So feel free to get those questions in and start loading them up. Even feel like it's not leading up to when we're live, you can tweet them out like when the show goes up on Tuesday or whatever. We'll get them. We will find them. That's the show. Nice brisk one, which is good because it's a sleepy day for Shaboy over here. I'm gonna transition to closing out. If you like to be a part of the show, you can tweet your questions. Like I said, it's at IrrationalPod on Twitter. Hashtag IPQ makes it easier for me to find, but don't necessarily need to use it. I'll find it usually anyway. You can leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Speaking of which, I did totally forget we have a Silver PR voicemail, so I'll get that pulled up while I finish closing out the show. You can send us an email. The email address is mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. If you like the show, follow it for updates on Twitter at IrrationalPod. And I know I brought this up a few weeks ago, but another shout out, Irrational Passions on Instagram. George Cruz runs that. He runs the Twitter for the most part as well. He does a phenomenal job doing so. There's a new thing called Instagram TV, which is just basically full-length videos on Instagram. All of our video reviews are up there if you want to check them out there. George, again, crushing it on all fronts, pretty much. So go check that out if you like some videos. He'll post trailers of indie games that we all think are cool, things like that. So some other stuff to keep in mind that would help us out a lot. If you like the show, rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play. Helps us out a lot. Check out the other shows that we do on the website. Input, a video games news show. If you want to get your news fixed, they're talking more about like the people problems and things like that. Also, Get Acquainted. It's a one-on-one show that I do that I think is pretty good. There's no episode that went up in June, but I am working on new stuff, new episodes. So hopefully there will be one up in the next couple of weeks. Very excited about the guests I have coming, so stay tuned for that. And for everything else, including all those cool things I highlighted at the beginning of the show, IrrationalPassions.com is the place to go. Here we have a voicemail from our good friend, Silver PR, who likes to call us and leave things, and I should have started downloading the voicemail ahead of time.
Whoops.
I didn't prepare. I don't think it's like 18 minutes long, which is good. I love Silver PR. He's just very loquacious. He's got a lot to say. And you can send your voicemails, like I said, 404-590-1337. That's where you can send them. Here we go. 4 minutes, 23 seconds.
What up, guys? So we are here. I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, I forgot that Alex and Nabishin went to kind of funny prom, and I sent like a quick question, and oops, I botched it. There was not gonna be no episode last week, so yeah. So I'm making a new voicemail for you guys, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a quick one. It's not gonna be one of the long Z's that I do from time to time. I think. Uh, but
It's
regardless,
not.
hope you guys
He
had a good
knows.
time. I hope Alex had a good experience, being better after all that manifesto tweets. And I feel you, man. It's hard sometimes, but you always have friends around, and that's a good thing. So never let those go, and never think you're alone, man. We all, everybody's dealing with shit. I'm dealing with shit being in a shelter still, but regardless,
Thanks,
finally the
man.
state sent us a letter of approval for help. What exactly that means, we don't know, but hopefully it's a good thing. Uh, so without further ado, let's go and talk about video games. Just two quick ones, to be honest. First of all, XCOM 2. I downloaded it from a place that I could send my PS4 and download a couple games. And from the Plus games, this is the one that I've been playing a little bit. For an Unreal Engine game, PC port, because this game feels like a PC port. Feels sluggish from time to time. Sometimes it frustrates me, but I think it's part for the course on a Firaxis game. So like, I don't know. I like the first one. I mean, being exposed for the first time to an XCOM game, it was a good experience for me. And it's just doing like the third mission right now, so the judge is still out there for that one, but feels sluggish from time to time. I mean, the graphics are like, it feels like a PS2 game sometimes. So like, just being really, really judgy about that one. But regardless, I like the system. I love the aspect of the mechanics and the strategy that involves in with those games. So I'm not gonna give out on it yet. So that's pretty much about that one. Also, FIFA 18. I've been playing this game for like about a month and a half. It was like a pre-Father's Day gift for me, and being the FIFA World Cup bug hitting me, and we're now in the playoffs right now. Uh, yeah, it's great. It's a great game. The only thing that it was missing, it was the UEFA Champions League that finally is gonna be coming back. It's like pretty much the only thing that mattered for me from the EA conference uh, on E3, that the UEFA is back, the license is back, the presentation is back. So I'm like really looking forward for FIFA 19. I'm not a guy that plays Ultimate Team. I don't spend money on that game other than buying it. You know, initially I don't buy packs and that kind of crap. So like I don't look forward for those modes. I just look for the career modes and also that story mode that they've been done for the past couple years. That it's not that bad, to be honest. For a sports game story, not bad. I'm looking forward for the third chapter of Alex Hunter and the journey. And but yeah, I'm looking forward for FIFA 19. But I'm having a heck of a lot of fun in FIFA 18 and all that stuff. So, and that's pretty much about video games. So before I go, I'm just gonna give you guys a quick question. You know, last week they announced the new Overwatch character,
Yeah, they
Wrecking
did.
Ball, aka Hammond, uh, a hamster in a ball that I found just quite hilarious, and very theme wise for Overwatch. So, quick question to you guys: imagine you can make an Overwatch character on your own image. How that character in Overwatch will be. Make an Overwatch character, made it on your own image. Just have fun. Just go crazy. So, without further ado, guys, have a fun one. Have a happy weekend. CWPR signing out.
Thank you, Silver. Fun story about the new Overwatch character Hammond that was announced. I was in an Uber right after he was announced with Nicole in San Francisco, and the guy, I forget the Uber driver's name, but Nicole was asking me about IP, and he was like, "Oh, you do a video game podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, it's trash. Don't listen to it." And then I said, "No, it's called Irrational Passions Podcast." He's like, "Dude, I'll listen to it. I love video games." I'm like, "What do you play?" He's like, "Dude, I pretty much only play Overwatch." But then him and I had like a very in-depth 15-minute conversation about Overwatch. and like some of the new changes they've been making to it. So shout out to that Uber driver, whoever he was. He's very cool. If you could make an Overwatch character of yourself, what would your powers be? That's a good question. I'm curious, Tony. I know you don't care about Overwatch, but if you could make a character of you, you can think of it more of like a League of Legends character, if that makes it easier for you.
I mean,
to
if I could make something like, and Scott only, the only person who's going to understand this is Scott. If I could put a character like Aurelian Sol in Overwatch, I would play that.
What does Aurelian Soul do?
So Aurelian
That
Sol
would
is
kind
a
of make more
very,
sense than you'd think.
yeah, I agree. I think that it's doable, but I think that it'd be a very unique character. So Aurelian Sol is probably one of the most unique characters in League of Legends. It's the character that I exclusively played this champion. So it's a giant motherfucking space dragon who made stars and has basically made the entire universe that League of Legends is situated in.
Cool.
But he got tempted by some alien race and captured, and then through various means is now in League of Legends tournament thing, whatever the lore of League of Legends is. But his mechanics, he doesn't have like 4 different skills really, like most of the other champions do. Most of his damage is based on 3 stars that rotate around him in a circle statically for the entire game. And when you get hit by one of those stars that are moving around him in a fixed radius at a fixed speed, you take damage from them. One of his skills makes it so that the stars move a little bit faster and do more damage, and that drains mana as you use it. And then he's got a stun, and then he has another ability that lets him like fly over stuff for a really long distance. And his stun thing is a star that gets bigger the farther it travels. So if you throw the star out and right before it gets to the end of like the range where it's gonna explode, you use that other ability that lets him fly really far. He will fly at the same speed as the star, so the star keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes farther along the map, and you can make it like really big. And then when it actually blows up, it does a bunch of damage and stuns people, and then you use that to like position yourself in a way that your stars are hitting the most people that you possibly can, or hitting the people to do the damage to them. It's a really unique way to play the game because you're not really like auto attacking and using spells.
It's like
using
passive.
Yeah, it's more passive, and like when you watch like highlights of League, it's cool to watch like certain champions just like throw all their abilities out and kill someone. Watching an Aurelian Soul play well is really fucking boring because they just like stand around on the edge of combat, and like, but there's a lot more to like the actual mechanics of playing him, because you have to watch the stars, watch where you are, make sure you're hitting the right people with the stars, and like you're moving around as the stars are moving to make them hit multiple people and stuff. So it's a really interesting character to play. It's my favorite character in League now. So
That's cool. That's a good idea.
if they could make that in Overwatch, I'd play it.
He's a cool looking dragon. I'm looking at pictures of him right now.
He is a fucking cool looking dragon.
In my head, like I'd want to be a healer probably, just because like that's in life, that's the role I like to fill. I was thinking of like other fighting game characters that I really like the mechanics of, and weirdly enough, like Cloud Strife is the character from Smash Brothers that comes to mind. Like I like the idea of having your super meter charge pretty quick, like not super quick, but pretty quick. But instead of having like one dedicated super, you could just do like a better version of any of your main abilities. I think there would be a lot of room to make something like that with a healer. In my head, I would like to have like a healer that can attack, really. Maybe can like leave traps or something like that, but doesn't have like a dedicated weapon. I know that's not super in the spirit of what Overwatch is, but I think that'd be cool. What about you now, Mission?
I have no clue, honestly.
You're finally ranked 25. You're finally a big boy in Overwatch. Yeah, I got nothing for you either. I would normally be like, here's an idea. I got nothing. I'm too tired. Scott, what about you? Do you got an idea?
I mean, for these questions, I just try to think of what's the most me. And all I got right now is kind of a mix between Doomfist and Roadhog.
All right, I like that.
I think what you'd be thinking is, mix the hook and the fist punch, and it's mix the movement abilities with Roadhog's gun.
Okay, that's really cool, actually. Like someone that can move around really quickly, but has like
it's use the shield instead of the heal.
Got it. That's cool.
Something closer to Roadhog's AP pool.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea still. Cool.
I don't think it's so much a good idea as it is me.
It's very Scott, I'll say that much. It's cool. It sounds like it'd be fun to play. Cool. Thanks for the question, Silver PR. Thanks for the voicemail, as always. We've reached the end of the show. Now it's time for bets, as the kids call them. The kids on the streets. This week's bet, written by one Brian Albertson Jackson. On July 13th, Octopath Traveler releases on the Nintendo Switch. On the IGN written review, how many times will the term RPG be used in the written review? This is good. This is a good bet, Nobishin. Whenever you guys are ready, you can type them up in the chat here.
Sorry, my attention was stolen for a second. What was the bet?
On July 13th, Octopath Traveler releases on the Nintendo Switch. On the IGN written review, how many times will the term RPG be used?
Okay.
I like the option that you wrote in the written review. How many times will RPG be used in the written review?
I'm sorry.
I know. I just like it. When you guys are ready, you can send them. Hit me with them. Hit me with the best shot.
Get the last one.
Fire away. I said 10. Tony said 7. Nobishin said 11. Scott said 4. It's a good spread.
Except for you and Abishin.
Yeah, we both went high. Y'all two might edge us out on that one. Last week's bet, or 2 weeks ago's bet, what will the Open Critic contributor score for Captain Spirit be at the end of the podcast next week? As it turned out, it's at the end of the podcast 2 weeks ago, but here we are. Let's see. I said 82. Scott said 4. I forgot. Scott, you went a little harsh on that one. Nobishin said 70, and Tony said 55. Now keep in mind the contributor score is like basically Irrational Passions tier score versus like an actual media outlet like an IGN or something.
And also versus people who just randomly played it.
So you have to have a website to have a contributor score and have to submit it. So it's not like Metacritic user reviews.
Right.
So the actual number is 78. The official score was 77, and the contributor score is 78, which puts my 82 at the closest spot. Very close, though. Nobishin had 70, I had 82. Which brings Team Nanashi's total up to 38. Team Bless, as they were last known, still rock hard at 25. Is it time to update the meme team name?
Nope.
Still Team Bless, Bless Online, forever meme?
It's still a meme right now.
Well, I mean, we could do that.
You could.
Are we gonna?
Nah. Cool. That means I've won the final word, and Danny Juarez's love and respect until it's up for grabs again next week. I'm trying to think anything.
Love and respect.
Love and respect. I guess it's his undying love and affection.
That's
You're
what
right.
you usually say.
Yeah. Why
you saying weird shit, Alex?
I was listening to Easy Allies podcast before we started recording, so it's in my head. Love and affection. Ugh, just rub it all over me. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything. I don't think I disagreed with anything on the show. I just want to reiterate, hey, if you like adventure games, if you like feels, I would really recommend playing Captain Spirit. I know it didn't work for some people. And that's fine. Didn't work for George Cruz, for example. He bounced off of it hardcore, as he said. But I really, really loved it. It really gave me the feels. And it's free. And if you've never checked out a Life is Strange game before, this could be your way into the series. So I would absolutely recommend checking it out. But that's really it. That's the show. Thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for everyone tuning in live. It's a nice short show for everybody. I imagine we got a guest lined up for next week. So once we get some guests back in here, just gonna rock it back up to 3 hours. Don't worry, everyone. I know everyone's terrified that the show won't be 3 hours long, but maybe that's not the worst thing. But thank everyone for tuning in live, listening. Like I said, thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music, 2-player co-op. Oh my gosh, let me take a sip of this water real quick. I don't think my throat's ever dried up that hard in an outro before. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of 2-player co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Go check them out, DannyWiesner.bandcamp.com. Always got to see that out every once in a while. Great music, great guy, great stuff. He has like a bard-like album that's like one of my favorite albums of all time. It's phenomenal. Narrated by Troy Baker. Thank you to Scott, Namishan, and Tony for joining me as always. I love you guys. Big hugs all the way around. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay rational. We will talk to you all next week.
Titles?
I tried to fill in some titles here. Maybe this first one's not appropriate. You ready, Tony?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up the document.
What if you just had it ready for you? What if it was just ready waiting for you?
I mean, that would be ideal, right?
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Listen, buddy, we can't always get what we want.
It's true. I'm just an
this
ideas man.
This is me teaching you that you can't always have it. Right?
This is a lesson for life and
That's
in
right.
life.
Okay, it's first title. Title: Tony is a league slut. Alex is just bad at video games. You win if you just try, and the OC drinking game.
I like the OC drinking game, Nabishan. That's good. What do you like, Tony?
All of the above, I think, are good.
They're good.
I'm personally a fan of Alex. Is just bad at video games.
I really like that one
I know,
too.
just like hard facts.
I didn't want to say it first though. I want somebody else to say it. Nabishan, what do you like?
Hold on, when did we say that?
We didn't say that. I was just talking about when you were talking about Blossom Tales. I said maybe I'm just bad at video games.
Oh yeah, you said it.
Either OC or Tony, I'm good with.
Tony, what do you like?
All of the above.
You gotta be the tiebreaker here.
What are the ties between Tony is a league slut and which one?
And the OC drinking game. No, Tony and Lisa and Alex is bad at video games.
Obviously, if I have to choose between a title about Alex and a title about me, I pick the one about me. Are you crazy?
Okay, fair enough. I'm interested to see how the SEO treats us on this one. Scott and Tony, you guys want to say the title and the number?
I suppose I don't mind.
Let's see, this is 384.
Sure, it's 384, but I feel like Tony should say the number so that way Tony doesn't end up saying Tony is a league slut.
Okay.
Okay.
So Tony, it's episode 384. Whenever
This
you're
is
ready.
the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 384.
Tony's a league slut.
Deadpan delivery. I love it. Thanks everybody for watching. We love you all. Have a great evening. Y'all can stop recording now.